Okay, thank you. All right, welcome to the November chat. I know you're here for some really important updates, but I want to start first with something very near and dear to my heart.
Some people are very poor losers.
Who gave Susie a microphone? Just kidding. Congratulations, Susie, on your
If you call that
win.
chili.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mary, I'm gonna need you to take her microphone. All right. Additionally, thank you to everyone who came out to the New Resident Social that was last week. It was a lot of fun. The weather was great. So we got a few pictures to share. If we missed you, we'll see you at the next one. My computer's a little old. You got to give it time to catch up. Yeah, you might see yourself in some of these. Don't know that guy. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thank y'all for coming out and celebrating with us, enjoying some good food, some good fellowship, and we hope to continue to grow these to the point that we've got to start having more of them. So, thank y'all. And let's have another shout out. Is Leela May here today? Leela May is not here, but I know everybody knows Leela May. If not, get to know Leela May. But I want to give her a shout out today because she donates shoe boxes. So year round, if you go by her apartment, the whole wall is just lined with these shoe boxes from Samaritan's Purse. And she does this year round. She goes on the shopping trips religiously and really promotes other people to get involved. But this year she donated right at 700 boxes to Samaritan's Purse. And because of not just this year, but her continued support of the program, they actually came out and spent 2 days with Leela filming her. So the first day, they sort of staged us helping load boxes, Leela taking them to a church and dropping them off, and filmed all this, interviewed Leela, and then spent the second day following her around friends' homes. So they went to classes, they spent time with her in the dining room, and they really followed her around a lot. So this is just really cool. This is a great story about what we do here. So if you see Leela, let her know that she got a standing ovation at both West and Guilford today. She was a celebrity for sure.
Will we ever see the video?
Yes, will we see the video? So yes, once we get the video, we will share that and get that out to everybody. And yeah, we're working closely with them on getting that. That wrapped up filming the week of Fall Fest, so they're still doing some production on that. But yeah, as soon as we get that, we'll share it out. All right, so as you know, we'd like to welcome some guests from Brightspire each month. This month we've got 3 guests for you. Mark Collins, VP of Human Resources, Kelly Underhill, Director of Workforce Development and Retention, and Julia Hanover, VP and Chief Financial Officer. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our guest and to Hank, and take a seat for a minute.
Yeah, come on, Mark. Kelly. Yeah, we skipped last month because we had so much information, but I had heard early in my first few weeks here that I don't really know who all these Brightspire people are and what y'all do. So just made a commitment to invite some of the team to introduce themselves and share a little bit about who they are and the work they do kind of behind the scenes to support Friends Homes and the operation and the staff here. So welcome.
Give them a double mic. We're changing it up a little bit from,
Just take Susie's.
yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I kind of dominated over at West, which is unusual for our
You have to
relationship.
hold it closer.
I don't know, is it on? Yeah, okay. Well, I dominated the conversation at West, which is really, if you know us, is unusual dynamic for this relationship.
It's
So-
hard for me to get a word in edgewise
Right,
with
right.
Mark around.
Right, I see some people like that. So, again, great to be here. Thanks for the invitation, Hank and Matt and Jordan. We're really excited to continue our relationship with Friends Homes. Hank asked us to tell a little bit about what we do in support, but also to introduce ourselves a little bit, so I'll let Kelly start.
Thank you, Mark.
Sure.
I am Kelly Underhill, Director of Workforce and Development with BrightSpire, and I have been with BrightSpire a little over 20 years. I actually wow, I know, I feel that way too. I actually started with River Landing and started as a social worker there and did admissions in healthcare, and eventually became a household coordinator there, and eventually a healthcare administrator, and did that for several years, and had the opportunity about 4.5 years ago to get to work with Mr. Mark Collins. And so I say sort of took a left-hand turn into human resources, which I consider sort of side by side with social work, and have really had the pleasure to get to provide really support and services to the workforce, right? The folks who get to come to work every day and get to provide services and support to you all, which is really something that I value and treasure, and something that's really special, because we have, right, what a great team of people who get to come to work here every day, and that's something that's really special. So very thankful to have the opportunity to do that. I currently reside in the big city of Stokesdale, and I'm originally from the even bigger city of Bellwood, North Carolina. As I see the blank faces out here, anyone? Shelby? Shelby, I see a hand in the back and some nods. So Bellwood is sort of between Shelby and Hickory, North Carolina, a little town up Highway 18. No reason you would have ever needed to hear about Bellwood. So grew up in the country there, and then moved to the big city of Stokesdale. Lived there with my husband. We have 4 children between the two of us. We are empty nesters-ish. Our youngest child is now 19 and currently at ECU, so almost out. Back and forth a little bit for Christmas breaks and things like that. And I'm currently a new parent. Any surprise faces there? Right, what? Of a 5-pound miniature schnauzer puppy. It's the cutest little thing. I have pictures. Happy to show them later when we're finished. He is precious, and a little furry shark at the moment. He likes to bite everything, but he's keeping us busy, so lots of joy with that too. We're having lots of fun with him, but we're enjoying this time we have. We have a Jeep, so we like to go off-roading, and just honestly like to spend time together, like to garden and pull weeds. It's one of my favorite things in the world to do. So outside of that, just enjoy working and spending time with the team that we have. I'll turn it over to Mr. Collins.
So yeah, I'm Mark Collins, VP of HR. I've been with BrightSpire. Good? Nope. Yep. Okay, sorry. Trying to speak. They're doing this on purpose. So yeah, been with BrightSpire for 12 years. Before that, worked for an organization that many of you in here are familiar with, and some of you may have even worked with. I worked for Burlington Industries for about 35 years, so obviously been around a little while. Well, that's actually long, 30 years, sorry. I made myself a little older. Have obviously enjoyed working with BrightSpire, and as I said, enjoyed the relationship with Friends Homes. Just a little bit personally, I grew up in the big city of Hickory, so Kelly came to the big city when she was looking for entertainment, but have not lived there for a number of years. Mary, my wife Karen, is a retired music educator, string teacher. She just retired from Friends Homes. I mean, from Greensboro Day, and She's a string teacher there. She plays in the Greensboro Symphony. She's probably been here with kids before, playing for some of you all. She also is runs around town with our two, a little bit larger than Kelly's dog, two full-grown 90-pound doodles who are therapy dogs and love visiting folks around town. So that's Karen. Then I have 3 other kids besides the 2 dogs. My daughter Stephanie is and her husband Hero, and our granddaughter Hannah May, 15 months old. That I've got just as many pictures of my dog, of her, as probably more than Kelly has of the dog. She's been around a little bit longer. That we can all go through. But they live in Cincinnati. They're both Stephanie and Hero are in the Cincinnati Symphony. You'll get a theme here. I have a son, CJ, who is in Indianapolis and plays in the Indianapolis Symphony, and then a son, Andrew, and his fiancee, Allison. They are in Seattle, and he is the operations director for Seattle Chamber Music Festival. And I do nothing. They don't even let me carry instruments anymore. So that's about when people say, "What do you play?" I say the radio, and they don't like that very, very much either. So anyway, I will not bore you anymore with that. So again, excited with the relationship. Hank had asked us to mention just a few of the things that we work with both the HR group here as well as the leadership team and other folks. Obviously, day-to-day support of HR. We have a weekly HR meeting, Zoom, that started kind of during COVID, but we continue that weekly, so it allows us to share best practices and any issues that are coming up that need to be addressed. We've had a number of technology implementations that we've gone through that I think have enhanced both BrightSpire and Friends Homes. I'll let Kelly talk a little about some of the technologies.
Yeah, a couple of the things that have been probably key. One of the communication tools that we've implemented is called Ready App. It's not really just a communication tool, it's really more like an intranet. So it is communication for all employees. You can communicate one-on-one, you can communicate to groups. You do it on your mobile device, so it's accessible to anyone. It's instant communication. You can send mass communication out with the push of a button. So we use it to keep connected. You can use it for fun, but also if there's an emergency or a policy change, it's instant access that can go out to everyone, which you can imagine, especially during COVID, this was huge, right? Things were changing, I mean, really from minute to minute. And we could really say sometimes, right, this was life or death information that was going out. And we were able to implement this program that really got information in the hands, literally, of employees, but also resources, things like policies, employee handbooks, links to important information, the CDC websites, links to the employee, the EAP, the Employment, what am I trying to think of? Assistance Program, thank you, Julia. The Employee Assistance Program, Teledoc resources, any employee programs were here in one place for employees, right? Which is really difficult when you have it's great that you have lots of employee programs, but where do I go to find the information, right? How many apps do I have? One location for employees. So we were able to work with Friends Homes to implement Ready App to combine all of this in one location, which was really great. Some of the other technologies that we've implemented rather recently, over the past couple of years, is Paycor. One of the first things that we implemented was Paycor recruiting. May not seem very exciting to you, very exciting to me, but we used to do paper applications. How many of you love paper? I see some people laughing. So we love our paper, right? We raise our hand. We love our paper sometimes, right? Everybody's moving away from paper. There's some good things about paper, but everybody likes to do things quick. We like to do things online, right? Especially the workforce that's coming through, people that we are hiring, they want to be able to do it on their mobile device, right? If we don't reach out to applicants in what time frame, Mark? 2.5 days. They've taken another job. Probably less. Paycor Recruiting allowed us here at Friends Homes to implement a system where we can electronically track people. We can see where they're applying from. Are they applying from Indeed? Are they applying from our website? We can look at analytics to see where those people are coming from. They can apply from their phone, right? We can respond to them via an automatic text message, so they're immediately getting communication from us. Everything's done electronically and we can track it. And guess what? We have all of those applicants, so when we have another job that opens up, we have this whole pool of applicants that before was in a file somewhere on paper. That's amazing, right? That's really great. So we've been able to do that in the past couple of years, which is incredible. And we've also implemented Paycor, the new HRIS system, and we're currently working with the HR department to develop electronic onboarding, which is going to be great. We're going to move from paper onboarding, which takes us about 45 minutes for new hire employees to come in to sit and fill out forms, which we all love to fill out forms, right? Love to write your address over and over when you're filling out paperwork. So we're going to do away with that so that they can electronically fill out their documents before they ever get here. So when they come to Friends Homes, they can learn about the mission here, right? And how they fit into that, and the important work that they're going to be doing, right? That's what they're going to learn about when they get here. The really important things, and that's what orientation will be versus 45 minutes of paperwork. So there's some key things that we can change through fully implementing Paycor to its fullest. And so those are some of the upcoming things that we're going to be working on. Anything else you want to add to that?
Again, yep, I tried to get away with it. Yeah, and again, we don't want to let everybody or give you a good excuse early in the meeting to doze off. So we won't keep going. We do have a couple other things just worth mentioning. Working with the group here, again, everybody knows the challenges of staffing now, particularly at skilled positions, and the challenges with nursing, and see Hannah in the back and other folks from nursing. We are working with a group on international nurse recruiting. We've got 2 nurses from the Philippines that are kind of working through the system now that will come join us early next year. The beauty of that is they're committed for 3 years, so they will be here for 3 years, and we don't have to worry about that job turning over. So that's a great thing. The other thing I would just want to mention is BrightSpire University, which is an entity that we have established through the BrightSpire Foundation a few years ago, and it is funded through the foundation, and we are able to bring in, particularly with our Leadership Academy. I know Kelly leads that Leadership Academy, and we've had probably 6 or 7 folks from Friends Homes go through that Leadership Academy, so we're pretty proud of that relationship as well. So we'll stop it at that.
Okay, I've told I have 2 minutes instead of 5, so I'll be really quick. My name is Julia Hanover, and I am the Chief Financial Officer with BrightSpire. I've been with BrightSpire for 25 years, and prior to that, I worked in public accounting for 13 years, so I've been very fortunate to only have really 2 adult jobs in my life. And just a little bit about me. I grew up in Greensboro, lived in Greensboro my whole life, except for when I went away to college at Appalachian State. I am married. My husband and I have been married for 37 years, and we both grew up in Greensboro, so we have a lot of connections here. Growing up, and I'm looking because I see Gertrude Bill, growing up, when I was 12, I became a member of the Order of the Rainbow for Girls, which if you are a Mason or an Eastern Star, you know what that is, but it's just an affiliation and a service group. And with that, I did a lot of work, volunteer work, at what I refer to as Masonic Home, which is now Whitestone. So I've always had a passion for senior living. As I said, I went to Appalachian, came back, and was in public accounting, did the audit on what was then Presbyterian Homes, and then went to work there. I have 2 children, one that is 29 who lives in New York, and I have one that is 22 who is still at home but finishing up at UNCG. I also, since everybody's talking about their dogs, I have a 65-pound baby who is 3 years old now, but a German Wire Pointer named Thor, who is my favorite child most days. Always happy when I get home and never complains about dinner. That is the most important thing. But just a little bit about me. The finance department, we are a team of 14 people. In the 14 people, we are responsible for the financing here at Friends Homes, anywhere from paying the invoices to doing the billing, to working on the audit, to the financing. When we built the 20 cottages here, or the 73 new units, and did the expansion over at West, we were responsible for working on getting that financing. So we do that. With the financing, we have bondholders. We do the reporting to the bondholders. We are a rated organization, meaning Fitch has looked at Friends Homes and has decided that we are financially strong enough to be rated. It's sort of like a very good housekeeping seal of approval, but because of that, they monitor us every year. So that is our responsibility there at Brightspire. As I said, there's 14 of us. There's about 5 people in billing. And the beauty is, with there being 5, if you're stuck on a problem in billing, can't figure it out, one of our other billers can probably help that biller. We can also stand in or help when someone is out. Let's see, we work on anything financial. We report the past, and then strategically what's going on in the future. We, as you know, we're highly regulated by the Department of Insurance. We're the ones who communicate with them. And then last, and I think Hank has a slide on this, we are changing our billing system here at Friends Homes and at Brightspire. We all have changed to a common billing system. And with that, your invoices are gonna look different. Your first one will come out in the month of October. We have done this at now 3 of our communities, and we'll be doing the 2 Friends Homes with the next month's billing. So I ask you to be patient with us. They're gonna look different, but it will allow us to be able to have all of our nursing, all of our financials, all on the same platform. And for us all to be doing things, this collecting data and storing data in the same manner. So that's pretty quick, short, sweet.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Julia. Thanks, Mark. Thank you, Kelly.
Yep, thank you.
Get rolling.
Occupancy update. This is good news, maybe. All right, well, there it is. Guilford campus, 88.2% occupied. Occupied and reserved is at 92.6%. West is at 96.3 occupied, 99.2 occupied and reserved. And then when you combine those two, 92.6% occupied, 96.2% occupied and reserved. So this is really tells a good story. This is something that we should all be proud of. You should all be proud you made a good decision to live here. You've made good decisions to tell your friends to live here, and you should feel good about this. This is a big accomplishment, which does segue into this little piece I hid from y'all a minute ago. resident referrals continue to be one of the best ways that people will hear about Friends Homes, just make the decision to move to Friends Homes. And so we wanted to share that, to keep that on your radar. A reminder, you do get a little financial incentive if you do that. But this morning we were talking about this and really dug into this here. So in the last year, we've had 39 referrals from residents. 15 of those chose to live at Friends Homes, which is a really good conversion rate on that. The reason this is really exciting is that if you go back 5 years, half of those move-ins have taken place in the last year. So if you look at 5 years worth of resident referrals, we really ramped up last year and got half of those, half of that total. So just to really say thank you, and to make sure you know, marketing really wanted me to stress to y'all, thank you, thank you, thank you. So keep telling your friends, bring them in, let them see what it's like to live here. Share the video of Leela May so they can see that we are a good place to live. If you're somebody who likes to fish, the pond has officially been stocked. They're small. It's obviously cold. They're also hiding out in the bottom. So in time, that'll be an option, but the fish are here. I've seen them. They came in big bags and dumped them out. The pond is just across the bridge on the west campus. Yeah, you may, Vulcan may be, it is, you got some hills, but yeah. The paving project, if you've driven over to West, the paving project over there has gone very well. Kudos to Mark Ford and his efforts with that. We are very close to the end of that project. There's a few small pieces that will be left over, striping some crosswalks and that kind of thing, and then we'll be moving to the striping project here that my friend in the back is very pleased about. But again, thank you. If you've been traveling over there to the Wellness Center to eat anywhere, please just know that we appreciate your cooperation with that. The resident computer that you all share that's here, for those of you that use the shared computer, Mary Ann came to me and shared that was the Windows, it was such an old computer that Windows was not going to work on it anymore. Reached out to Brightspire IT, got the computer replaced. So if you go by and check it out, you got yourselves a new nice computer. And then again, if you travel over to West, the wayfinding signage that we've ordered several months ago will be in and delivered and installed around this first week in December. So a few more updates here. Turn over to Hank.
Yeah, Julia, well, first of all, you may be wondering where's Jordan? Jordan's here. He's still here. A lot of this was in process, and I thought it'd be easier if I just covered some of this ground, but he's still here and doing a lot of good things already. Julia mentioned this, so the accounting software for the whole organization, not just Friends Homes, but all of the organization, is being changed. And so your statements, as she mentioned, will look a little different, and they're also going to be a little delayed this first month. So you might be used to getting them on a certain date, and we're pretty sure that that conversion process is going to take us a few extra days. And so just be patient, as she mentioned, and continue to be on the lookout for those. If you have questions, please, just let us know. Some of you routinely come and write a check on a certain day of the month, which is great. But you don't need to do that until you actually get your statement in hand, okay? Others of you have your bank account drafted. Just know that when the date in which your account is drafted may change a little bit, because the statement may not hit you on the exact same date this first month, and that could affect the date in which the draw from your bank account is taken. So a little patience, we'll communicate more as all of that comes out. The nice thing is, as Julia mentioned, we've been through this at the other communities and learned some lessons, and they're getting a little more up to speed with all of that. The TV, just a quick note on Spectrum, specific to TV, we got a contract proposal from them in hand yesterday. We haven't signed it yet, because we haven't read it yet. But we've been in negotiations and conversations with them, so we think we're comfortable, but we need to make sure that we cross all our T's and dot all our I's. And so no firm announcement on that. I just want you to know that continues, that process, that communication with them. And we're trying, frankly, just to be fully transparent with you, to bring everyone along. So the folks who live in the townhomes and in all the new homes over at West have a different TV provider than those of you who live in the main buildings, meaning not Spectrum. And we're trying to bring them along into this contract, and that conversation is part of, it's a bigger conversation, requires some capital infrastructure to be installed, the cabling and wiring has to be installed, the cost of that, who's gonna do that, is a conversation we're having, and the timing of that. So we need to learn a little bit more about that before we fully commit. But that conversation is ongoing, we have the contract in hand now, and we're getting close. If you're a veteran, or if you know somebody who is, please let Susie know. I think we're having a program next week, and we want to make sure that we honor and recognize all of the veterans who live with us. I think we may be asking for pictures even, but again, mainly just want information about you or your neighbors who may be veterans, who have been veterans. Personally, I was just raised in a house where that was really important and a big deal, and we want to make sure that we're recognize and honor everyone who served our country in that way. That's a fancy.
Yeah, just remember, my computer's old, so it takes a little while.
Don't
Or
blame-
my
don't blame your
PowerPoints,
computer.
my PowerPoints are so advanced today.
Yeah.
Chili's not.
Oh.
If you didn't hear Susie, he said,
I'm coming for you.
PowerPoint's really advanced, and Susie said, too bad your chili isn't.
Coming for you.
Again, I'm not sure white chicken chili is real chili. I do like it, but. Yeah, talk to the trophy. All right, at Friends Homes West, y'all heard about this probably. We've talked about this elevator project. Just a quick update. You won't see any work on those elevators done until the new year. There's a lot of work going on behind the scenes, so we've signed a contract for that. It's a lot of equipment that has to be ordered, and schedules that have to be organized. And so the equipment's been ordered. It's a 12-week lead time. We want to make sure we have all the equipment on hand and on site before we start. And each of the elevators, as they go down or taken down, will be offline for 4 to 5 weeks during that process, only one at a time. So if you're over there visiting friends, just be prepared for that. A lot more to come about that down the road. The roof repair here. So we know, I think you know from previous conversations, this area all the way through the dining room, basically to the back kitchen line there, we have some roof issues above this ceiling. We call this the ceiling, the drop ceiling, and above it is the roof, and there's some issues there. So we've shored up some spaces and some issues there, but we've intentionally delayed the full repair until after the new year. It was going to be more invasive, frankly, than we originally thought, and so this room's going to be affected, and we know that we use it in the dining room considerably during the holiday time, and want to get through that period of time before we really start messing around, right, Mark? But that's still coming. The woods here, so I think most of you probably know there's a trail and a boardwalk system back there that I think Charlie Ruth built himself with his hands, with some other volunteers some years ago. It was wonderful and well done, but it's just grown old and worn with the weather. And so it's not completely safe right now. So we've gotten proposals to repair and replace some of that, mostly replace, not really repair, replace. Daryl's been leading that effort up, and I think he had a meeting yesterday with the subcommittee of your building and grounds committee, and they've supported one of the proposals. Of course, it's the one that does the most work, which we're fine with. We have that money in the budget, and we're going to get working on that soon to replace that boardwalk system and do some cleanup in general back there. Friendly Avenue over behind the new homes that we built on the farm property. There's a berm if you're driving down Friendly before you get to the entrance, the main entrance over there. And up on top of that berm, honestly, we just felt like we need some additional plantings for some beautification. but also for some sound attenuation over time. So that's going to start on Monday over there. So if you see plants going in, that's what that is. I'm going to hand it back over to Matt for some wellness information.
Y'all excuse the constant throat clearing. I chased a 4-year-old around in the cold rain last night. It was hopped up on sugar. So, new wellness classes. I'm trying to get through this one. So, reminder, we've got core connections. So that is a core workout, strengthening your core muscles. This is Fridays at 10 a.m. in the Life Enrichment Center of the Wellness Center. And then our balance class, which is a good one for everybody to participate in. Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 10 a.m. in the solarium here in the sports court at West. I've had some feedback about getting to know Jasmine, getting some FaceTime with her. So she has put together this program, Workout with Your Wellness Director. You can get to know her and you can get some exercise in while you're doing it, which is a good thing. Mondays at West and Tuesdays here, 11:30 a.m. Both of those in the exercise areas. So it was pointed out to me there's some errors in here, but this is a really exciting program that's BrightSpire wide, but it is an art showcase. So if you're one of the artists here, and I know we have a lot, if you've created any masterpiece since, well, these dates are really wrong. Excuse my dates here. If you've created any masterpieces in the last year, let Jasmine know, and we'll enter it into the showcase. So the way this will look, there'll be a showcase here, and an external judge will come and judge these pieces based on category. So there's sculpture, there's painting, there's essays, there's performing arts, there's all kinds of categories. So we'll have a showcase here, and the top 3 from each category, just like the Olympics, will be entered into this showcase that will be hosted at River Landing in February. And from there, that art will be on display, and there'll be some competitiveness to it. And we hope, just like in the Olympics, that we're going to bring home some gold in this art showcase. But at a minimum, let's get some art on display and bring a little bit of joy and beauty to people who look at our art. More details will follow on this. There's a lot of errors in this, and I apologize. This is actually a reception to celebrate the Walk with Ease program. So if you're a member of the Walk with Ease program, the celebration for participants will take place at the Village Brookwood, and Jasmine can communicate all that out to everybody. So last month we shared a lot. Many of you got up and left when we got close to dinner hour. But one of the things we shared was an update to the leadership team and an update to the maintenance department. So if you stuck around, you saw this slide, this org chart. This is our maintenance department. So you've got Mark Ford up here, Reggie, Bernadette, all of the awesome techs that we have, and then as we mentioned, Julian taking this lead role in healthcare. But happy to announce a couple things have changed since then. First, Mark Sotelo, who's standing in the back here in the blue shirt, waving at you. Mark was here as the supervisor at West. He left, found out the grass is not greener, and decided he wanted to come back. We were happy to have him back. He is our new assistant director of maintenance. And then as of about 11 o'clock this morning, we're welcoming Jamie Smith. Jamie, she will start in December 4th. Yep, December 4th. And she will be our projects and renovations coordinator. And so she'll bring a lot of really good energy to this program. We're excited. She made a really good impression in her interview. She's going to be a great addition to the team. I am going to bring Hank back up now to talk about some changes to skilled nursing.
Yeah, just want to make sure everybody knows that in all of these conversations about restructuring and some certain departments and resourcing things a little differently, that we're not forgetting about our healthcare residents. So just wanted to update you on some changes that are beginning to occur in skilled nursing, mostly among the nursing leadership team. So in a traditional nursing home, well, I'll go back, the hospital industry was what it was, 60, 70 years ago. The skilled nursing business nursing homes started getting built in the 50s and 60s around the country, and we're all modeled off of the hospital clinical model. So you have a charge nurse who's in charge of a nursing station, you have nurses and nursing assistants, and they do tasks. They do treatments, they pass pills, they bring the food, they certainly didn't used to be good, and then, get you out, get you home. And the nursing home model kind of took after that. So we had what we call literally charge nurses. I'm in charge of this nursing station, and we built really big nursing stations that were very institutional feeling to say, hey, this is where all the care center is. And the staff work there, and we wake you up at a certain time, everybody. We give baths at a certain time. We feed you at a certain time. We do the medication passes at a certain time. We do all the treatments at a certain time. And we check our boxes and say we provided good care for you. Now, clinically, some of that was true, but if you were a late sleeper versus an early riser, your daily rhythms would be interrupted to meet our schedule. And we were much more concerned historically in our nursing home business about specific tasks that we were providing to you, care, as we called it, versus your overall quality of life, in addition to that quality of care. So we, as an industry, have been talking about this for a decade or more, and there's been some pilot programs in different parts of the country to say, hey, is there a better way of doing this? And eventually, Medicare and Medicaid got involved in the conversation and started to understand some of this too, and rewrite some of the regulations to better support what's generally called culture change, or the household model, or the pioneer, there's a pioneer network. So there's people who've been doing this for about 10 or 15 years, and we've been coming along and learning and trying to adopt some of those lessons learned. So historically here at Friends Homes, we have a director of nursing, we have an assistant director of nursing, they're office people. Then we have another nursing administrative person who does tasks around quality assurance, that's a compliance item, and staff development, that's also a compliance item, and check all these boxes for our regulators. So we have 3 or 4 of our highest paid, most qualified people who mostly work in offices, doing schedules and reports and compliance work. And in the household model, we try and take as much of that and push it into each of the nursing stations. So here in Whittier, we have Birches, which is our memory care area, Maples, Oaks, and Cedars. So these are what traditionally we would call nursing units. We think of them now as more like households or neighborhoods in our language now going forward. And so in each of these neighborhoods or households, we try and create an equal sharing of quality of care and quality of life. Now, the quality of care always has to be paramount, right? The pills have to be passed, the treatments have to be done, the documentation has to be managed, the communication with physicians, and so forth. But in that way, we take these folks who are nurse leaders, administrative nurses, and we invite them to move into the household and become what we call a nurse mentor or a nurse leader. So we basically create a mini director of nursing in each of Oaks, Maples, and Cedars. I'll kind of get that one eventually. So folks like Eric, I don't know if many of you know Eric back there, he's been our assistant director of nursing. Taiwan, who works in assisted living here, is our nurse leader. Crystal, sorry, all the names. Crystal, these are folks who traditionally work in offices and managed processes, or people. And we're asking them to move into one of those specific households and basically be a mini director of nursing. This is in addition to the nursing staff that's already there, okay? By license, we still have to have a director of nursing. They still need to be overarching, and so they're the overall leader, and they don't have an assignment in one of these households, okay? The partner to the nurse leader, what we call the nurse mentor on the household, so that's an RN, we're taking that resource out of the office and putting it closest to the people who need it, the residents and the staff. So they get responsibility for 60 people, 70 people, down to 19 people. They're in relationship with the staff, they're in relationship with the residents in a more specific way, concentrated way. But the partner to them is somebody we call a household coordinator. So that's someone who might have a social work background or a life enrichment or activity background. And their job is to come to work every day and lead the effort that supports the rest of your life on the household, your dining experience, your activity and life enrichment experience, communication with your family, and all the other needs, the social needs that you may have, and support all of that effort. So we're beginning this process here slowly. And the first move and change that we're making is that, again, Eric, Taiwan, and Crystal are going to move into these nurse leader roles on the households. We're going to come back soon and look for and hire for these household coordinators. So they'll be lead partners. These are additional resources going into the nursing effort here, okay? They'll be partners for quality of care and quality of life in each of the 19-bed households. So they'll come to work every day instead of thinking on behalf of 70 people. They'll be partners in the quality of life and the quality of care for 19 people and supporting the staff who are already on the schedule doing that work with them. Does that make a little bit of sense? Okay. So we're beginning that process. Major thanks to these team members who are taking their roles, their traditional roles, and making changes to them and going forward really excitedly, thankfully, in this effort. A quick announcement. Yep, so these are the folks. And again, trying to get the resources closer to the resident who needs the care and the support every day. Another piece to this is that Shakria Jones, who many of you may have known, who's been away from us for a year, is going to come back and become our director of nursing. So again, thanks to the team here, Crystal in particular, Eric, Taiwan, for opening the path and the door for this to occur. You may be wondering what happened to Shakria, where did she go? And just being as open and transparent as I can, but also protecting her HIPAA, she had a medical issue that she left, went on leave, and frankly, it was longer than she or we expected for her to recover from that. She had not one surgery or procedure, but two, when she didn't expect the second one. And the therapy and her rehab behind that extended. So we had to move on. But we stayed in communication with her. Shakria, if you don't know her, Shakria was born and raised professionally here. She was a CNA, she became an LPN, and she became an RN, and she became the nurse leader, the director of nursing. She loves this place, she loves the residents and the staff, really as much as anyone can. And so we're happy that she's coming back. We're happy and grateful for the rest of the nurse leadership team to make the path forward for this and to embrace these changes. So we think these will be good. We've experienced them at our other communities. We have team members, Kelly's one of them. We have another person out of our office who are real experts in this. They go and do this consulting work actually with some other folks. They're going to come and embed themselves here and work with the team to make sure that this change goes well. So hopefully that makes some sense, but that's a lot, I know. We'll ask for some trust in that we know what we're talking about, and we believe this will be better for the residents who live in nursing. I'll stop and try and answer questions. I know that's philosophically a lot, but the big pieces are this team goes down into these households. They work more closely with the residents and the staff who are receiving the care. All right. Come see me if you have questions.
Covered it well. All right, so some upcoming programs. Backed by popular demand, there will be another brewery tour in November. This month, or in November, they're going to, I believe, Foothills in Winston and Flying Fish, Finland Fish, excuse me. Thank you, Mary. The astronomy, there's an off-site astronomy program on the 15th. There is a trip to the Renaissance Festival on the 19th. The Renaissance Festival is actually in Concord area. Veterans Day. So as Hank mentioned, we're looking to, we have two programs going on. We'll have a closed, invite-only breakfast for our veterans and their loved ones, and then we'll have the big program that everyone's welcome at in the afternoon. And so we're really excited about that. We're going to the Greensboro Holiday Parade on the 2nd. We're going to look at some lights at the Speedway, Charlotte Motor Speedway. We haven't set a date for that yet. I'll be chaperoning a group to go to an evening showing of It's a Wonderful Life at the Carolina Theater. So come hang out with me there. We have a Hanukkah program on the 7th. And we have a turkey trot from the wellness department on the 22nd. So we got a lot going on. Oh, and I skipped, I'm sorry. The Greensboro Holiday Light Tour, that's very popular. So we have two opportunities to go to that. That's the 7th and the 22nd. So a lot going on. Cheryl?
Yeah. I want to throw in there some dates. I don't expect you to remember, but just so you'll know to be on the lookout. The Hanukkah service is at West at 4:30. It is open to everyone. A rabbi will be there to explain the significance of Hanukkah. There'll be music, there'll be cookies and dreidels, and it's there for education as well as celebration. And then Advent services begin here at in the living room on Tuesday, November the 21st at 3:30. And then communion will be at West, and there will be transportation on December the 4th. And if you can't make it to that, please let me know. I will bring you communion if you so choose and when you so choose. And then the service of remembrance is tomorrow here at 2 o'clock.
We need to sign up for some of those things.
No sign up is required.
All right. Y'all make sure to come out and have a good time. That's, we want to keep this momentum going from the social and the programming we've had, the Fall Fest. It's just been a lot of fun, so come out. So I think we're at a point now where we can talk about the Employee Appreciation Fund.
Yeah, just a big thanks. I think I mentioned in my first letter update to y'all a couple months ago, just how struck I was being here every day after a few weeks, how much the team, the staff really care about their work and you. And for you all to recognize them this once a year time in this way, it's really meaningful and impactful. So we just wanted to make sure that we say thank you for your effort in this regard and what you do for the staff. $73,000 is a lot of money. And the staff really appreciate it, and it helps them out this time of year, certainly going into the holidays. So thanks for your commitment to that, and we appreciate it very, very much.
That's it. We're going to answer some questions now. Although we covered it very well across the bridge.
1 hour, y'all. We got less than an hour.
Oh, man. All right, hang on.
All right, Jonathan, we're working our way up.
Is there any possibility we could ask you all to reconsider the 5 3/4% raise next year and start having a policy that maybe followed Social Security COLA, which applies more to senior people and what they have experienced in inflation and that kind of thing, or use numbers that are specific to this piece of property and all the services that we purchase and use here, not national numbers.
Yeah. You can certainly ask, and I think you just did.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen again.
Says the pastor. The budget's set, John. We're into the fiscal year. We're working within the new budget. Appreciate the question. You're not the first one to ask. So we could do what you suggested and do COLA. We'll go back, and last year when you got 8.7% from your Social Security increase, we'll ask for the additional 1.7. Would that be fair? Sure? Okay. Because over the last 2 years, we went up 12.75%, and you got a total of 12 and a half, I think. So we were right on in the last 2 years in that Social Security increase. And before, I think we showed you the slide last month that I think 15 years or more we had 3% increases, which is what we want. We don't relish this at all. It's just the reality when we look at everything we buy, that it's up that much. And what we do with that, so we'll provide an increase to our staff, to all the employees, of around 4 to 4.5%. That's where most of it goes. And the rest covers all the inflation regarding food and utilities and everything we buy. That's just the best answer I can give you. I appreciate the question. We don't love it. Unfortunately, we're set on this 5.75 right now. Bob, you can borrow mine.
I was just wondering if one of our speakers has an update on the transfer of telephone service to single digits.
So, a good question. So, had a call with them yesterday. Thank you again for all the letters and signatures releasing your account. The majority of those have been received, and they're beginning to release those. They're going to start porting your numbers next week, I think. Is that right?
I think so. We're going to get an official letter out once we lock that in.
Okay, a little more data coming soon, specific dates. The assisted living and skilled nursing numbers have been ported. We learned some lessons. They learned some lessons. We've asked for additional resources when the porting of your numbers begins. So we continue to talk to them a lot. So that process is ongoing. There were about 40, just being fully honest, there were about 40 folks whose your name doesn't show up on the account that they have. So it may have been in your spouse, and your spouse has passed away, or that sort of thing. So we're working through those remaining 40 or so, that's between here and West, to get those numbers released. So we're in process, we're in regular communication. I also have some information for you, Bob, that we'll probably share with everybody about the features of the single digits phone service. Yeah, more, okay. I got a sheet that we'll pass out that explains some of it, and then I have a little more specific. Okay, I'm gonna put you in touch with them, I think. I'm getting in the middle and I'm not helping you enough. But yeah, more on that to come.
Has Friends Home obtained a home health care license?
We do not have a home health care
No.
license.
Are you working on it
We
for
are-
Friends Home?
We're not currently working on that. Was that said that we were? So that we can provide home health services through a company of our own, is that what you're asking, versus?
I think there's something in the strategic plan that had been shared back. Arnie shared a strategic plan, and it had something there about evaluating home health.
Oh, the need for that?
Yeah.
It's not an active consideration right now. That's a really, really tough business. And we've been talking to I've been talking to the CEO of Wellspring. They have their own licensed agency. They provide service to their residents on the Wellspring campus. They realized they were losing so much money doing that because the infrastructure requirements are such that you can't charge enough to cover it all. And you might have this many customers one month and this many the next month, but you have to retain the staff, because if you lose them, then when it goes back to this number, you can't fulfill the service. It's a really tough business. They took it off their campus out into the general Greensboro community to try and build the business, the base of the business, and they got killed doing it in two ways. Financially, it would continue to be a problem for them, and reputationally, it became a real problem for them. So when they would have a contract with somebody who just lives out in the Greensboro community to provide home health services, the first time that nurse or nurse aide doesn't show up on time, it's a big reputational hit. And that unfortunately happens a lot. Those workers are not paid a whole lot. There's tremendous turnover in that sector. We experience it in assisted living and nursing here because it's the same type of employee. They had a lot of turnover. All these agencies had lots of turnover. And the first minute you don't show up on time or do your full shift or do it well or have a bad experience, everybody in town seems to know about it. So we're a little hesitant right now. We're learning from them. One option is that we could partner with them. They've asked us if we would do that. And we would own a share of it and become a partner in it. And then be able to offer it on campus through a partnership with them in a very, maybe in a better or different way than you can receive it now. Because as it is now, if you need it, you just call whoever provides those services. And we're not really involved in that. But it's a tough business. We've learned a lot from talking to them, and we're not actively pursuing a license right now.
And to be clear, we can, if you connect with Susie, you can, or Teresa, we can get you in touch with providers that we've
Sure.
used on campus
Sure.
that are what we would consider preferred partners in that. It's really just a matter of we're not the owner of that, but it's the same services. It's companies that we've worked with over time and developed those relationships with.
That we trust a little bit more than
Yeah.
just anybody.
A while back, we heard about partnering with Wellspring, and I haven't heard anything about it since. And I wonder, is that going to happen, and are they going to come in under the Bright Spire umbrella, or what's the situation
What's
there?
going on there? Yeah, that's a good question. You probably had Tim, I think our CEO, may have come and talked to you a few months ago or back in the summer. Yeah, there was an announcement in the summer that Bright Spire and Wellspring, so Wellspring consists of their main campus here in town, as well as they own now the Village of Brookwood, which is a smaller CCRC in Burlington. They have their home health company, and they own a couple of adult daycare sites that they operate in town. A couple of them are churches, and then they have a main facility kind of over near Page High School, if you know where that is. So that's their company. And so there's been an announcement that Bright Spire, our 3 communities, and their 2 communities would come together in a full merger. So not just a partnership in certain ways or certain areas, but really bringing together legally and formally both companies. And so that process is still going on. There's due diligence, there's lawyers, there's finance to consider. They have their money, they have their debt. We do the same, we have the same. And so that process is ongoing. Their board leadership and our board leadership are in conversation still. There was originally a plan or an idea that would culminate by the end of this calendar year, but that won't happen now. This process is taking longer, frankly, than we thought, which is fine. There's nothing wrong or any kind of diversions in the process. It's just taking a little longer with all the regulatory agencies that we have to work through and really some of the legal work, frankly. There's a governance structure, like a new board would be formed, and so there's just a lot of work around it. I'm here every day doing this work with Jordan and Matt and the team. So I don't want y'all to think that like we're off and doing other things. There are other people in our company who are focusing on that. I'm here doing this. Mark's here, Kelly's here, others are here making sure that you all are taken care of. We have an agreement with the Friends Homes Board, Bright Spire does. We've been transparent and open with the board about what we're doing or considering doing. They feel comfortable right now in our relationship continuing here. We're excited to continue doing this. We love it, it's what we do. So I don't know if that helps give you a little update.
Can we be done?
Well, we get copies of your notes today, particularly this new structure of the nurse resources of nurses, the new wellness structure that you presented.
Yes. So this is recorded, it's shared on CareMerge. We also have a couple people helping take notes, and we'll get that out.
Is it possible to actually put the PowerPoint in CareMerge and not the video video is so small, you can't read anything.
Yeah, so they have also been added onto CareMerge. They are under the Friends Homes Notices tab, both the presentation and the video together.
Thank you very much.
Yep, and it should be back like that at least the past 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, and we'll print a copy and put it in the reading room too. The video, I know it's small, but the video helps as there's things that we discuss that aren't spelled out because we don't want a slide that's, loaded with text. But yes, we'll get that out.
Anything else?
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you all very much.
On your way out, some key dates
Oh, yeah.
for some things here. Friendsgiving, Cookies with Santa, and some music for you. Founders Day. So y'all mark your calendars.
Lots going on. Have fun.